Hello again. I guess 4 past 2 we can start. Hello everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar. I'm Önder Akkemen, sales engineer here at Sarnikon. Today, Ms. Tuğçe, our development engineer, and I will present you a brief but critical information on UV lighting and our manufacturing capabilities for your UV projects with our product line. From this point on, Ms. Tuğçe will continue and I will take it back from our product line.
Thank you, Mr. Önder. Hello, everyone. My name is Tuğçe. I am working as a product developer at Sarnikon. Today, we will talk about UVC light, which is a disinfection method. During this webinar, first of all, I will explain some basic terms on UVC light and its disinfection effect, and then show you the requirements of the dosage calculation. Finally, Mr. Önder will continue to give a brief information about our UVC product line. Every light has a certain wavelength. These lights are inside the electromagnetic spectrum. As you can see here, the ultraviolet range covers 100 to 400 nanometers. And also, this range is separated into 4 sections, which are UVA, B, C, and vacuum UV. Today we would like to talk about just the UVC part. Nevertheless,
Can everybody see the presentation? Please type in the chat section so that we can clarify that. Thank you. Thank you. You can continue now.
Today we would like to talk about just the UVC parts. Nevertheless, we would like to show the full pitch of the UV application. And the first picture is about disinfectant implementation. As we all know, UVC is commonly used for disinfection field, such as surface, air, and water. The second is about the curing process in the chemical cover of the surface. In this kind of application, UVA is used. UVB is used for plant growth and some medical treatments. So, how does UVC affect? What's happening when using the UVC light? Pathogens consist of nucleic acids. These nucleic acids are DNA and RNA chains. When these structures are exposed to UVC light, they absorb the light, their bonds break down, and they cannot reproduce again. As a result of that, these pathogens cannot continue their life form. On the right side, this curve shows that the absorption of nucleic acids and the most effective wavelength. According to this curve, RNA and DNA have a peak absorption around 260 to 270 nanometers. In this graph shows the different absorption curves of different pathogens. They all have a peak absorption around 250 to 280 nanometer. This range is called germicidal range. The most important thing in UV calculation is the dosage. UV dose is an energy which is generated by UVC source. It is defined by this equivalent, which is combination of UV light intensity and their exposure time. Radiant flux is the amount of power radiated through a given area in the form of photons. It is specified by the UVC source. Each pathogens have a different sensitivity to the UVC source. It means that required depth dosage for the inactivation of different pathogens. According to this amount of dosage, intensity of the UVC light and their exposure time is determined. The other important point is the distance. If you are far away from the UVC light source, you actually can cover a much larger area. But with that larger area, your intensity is going to be much lower. But if you are closer to the source, the intensity is going to be much higher. This is why distance plays a very critical role in the disinfection application. If you want to receive the maximum efficacy from your system, you should install a UVC luminaire closer to the disinfected area. Log reduction is specified as the inactivation rate of pathogens. This table contains the log reduction level and their percentage of their inactivation. If you want to inactivate almost 100%, your log reduction must be 6 level. But for this, you need more energy. Until today, many studies have been done by private sector laboratories and universities. I would like to show some numbers here. At short time, after a few seconds, you can effectively reduce SARS-CoV-2. So what you see in this table, wavelengths of UVC LEDs and exposure times, which result in different doses and energies. It shows that how much log reduction they actually achieved. At 5 millijoule per square centimeter, you can reduce SARS-CoV-2 concentration almost 99.9%, which is log reduction level 3. On the other hand, the Boston University has reported studies which had done with fluorescent source. And what is an effective dosage on the SARS-CoV-2? As a result of these studies, when 5 millijoule per square centimeter dosage is applied with the 254 nanometer lamp, fluorescent lamp, it can reduce almost 99% in 6 seconds. If you would like to inactivate the percentage of almost 100, you need more energy. Based on the data, it was determined that a dose of 22 millijoule per square centimeter will result in a reduction of 6 level in 25 seconds. When compared to other pathogens, it is relatively easy to kill. SARS-CoV-2 is a relatively weak virus, can be inactivated quickly and economically. As you know, as Sarnikon, we are the distributor of OSRAM. They have announced their new product line of UV lighting. They have low and mid power LEDs. Besides, they provide to their customer that system calculation, such as dosage, amount of LEDs. In this slide, it is shown that general summary of calculation in the UV disinfection with LEDs. It is separated into 4 steps. In fact, it contains what I have said so far. At the first step, SARS-CoV-2 needs 5 millijoule per square centimeter for inactivation in the disinfection field, and exposure time 6 seconds. This energy has been found by many studies. These results have come out with fluorescent lamp as well. The second step contains is a dosage formula, as we explained in the previous slides. Dosage is known, we can calculate to need totally radiant flux. The third step is compensate for the different UVC spectrum and source. On the right side has a curve. According to this curve, you must take into consideration your wavelength efficacy. Here, this study has been based on fluorescent lamp. If you use 275 nanometer UV LED source, you should take into consider their constant values, which are of fluorescent lamp, and LEDs in the formula. OSRAM support this kind of calculation with their UVC calculation tools. The last step is to determine the amount of LEDs. It is found by dividing total radiant flux by radiant flux of one LED. We have found out that the case formula is used in the dosage calculation for fluorescence. Many studies show that use this equation. How many fluorescents are needed? What is the exposure time? We can theoretically calculate. Until now, I have explained some theoretical side, and from this point on, Mr. Önder will present our product line.
Thank you, Ms. Tuğçe. As you all know, we are the supplier of OSRAM LEDs and in-house manufacturing of LED modules. We have two types of LED modules, which are 28 and 56 centimeters that use 12 and 24 LEDs. One of our capabilities that we offer is custom design regarding to your specifications. The length of the PCB and the quantity of the LEDs can change according to the required power. Another product which we have manufactured is UVC branch. This custom design was produced like tree-shaped to disinfect the room entirely without any untouched areas. 12 pieces of 25-watt fluorescents were used with peak wavelength of 253.7 nanometers. One of the features that separates us from our competitors is the control interface we use on the branch. Computer connecting to the Wi-Fi will let you have the ability to control the light. Turning on and off before entering or exiting the location of the branch will give the user the advantage of harm-free to the person. Last but not least of the designs we prepared is the mobile portable UVC stand. We use reflectors here to change the radiation angle to cover more area. Besides, we can offer motion sensor for the wall installed armature. The basic working principle of the sensor is under detection of motion in the area, the UV source will shut down to prevent any casualties to the person. Why you should choose Sarnikon? Why we are selected by our customers in comparison to our competitors? The first and most important reason is we are an engineering company which can custom design and prepare required calculations. Our manufacturing team has the utmost capability of designing both LED modules and stands, which you have seen in the previous slides. With high production capacity, we can offer the best quality with low price, which will put us in one step ahead of our competitors. Price and quality is extremely important, but lead time is as crucial as the other segments of sales. So even during pandemic, our teams work to offer the shortest lead time as possible. To summarize all above, UVC light is used more than ever in disinfection applications. Studies show that still water like ponds and lakes can maintain COVID virus, so there are even disinfection applications for that. Both UV LEDs and fluorescents are used in disinfection. Hospitals, laboratories, shopping malls, schools, public and private offices, factories, and crowded areas must use UVC lighting solutions to eliminate the consequences. This was all actually. Thank you all for sparing your time from your schedule. If you have any questions, please type in the chat section so that we can clarify every point. Okay. There aren't any questions as I see. The session of this webinar has been recorded and the video link will be shared with you. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact us via email to info@sarnikon.com. Sorry, I think someone has a question. Mr. Hassan, I'm interested in LED PCBs. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Hassan. We can share with you, of course. Sure, we will share our quotation with you, and we will send you a data sheet as well. Thank you all for connecting. Stay safe, take care.
Thank you.
Bye. Sorry, I think we have another question. Is an academic research in UV 100% effective on COVID? We are actually searching for that application. Right now, there aren't any studies that can show 100% effectiveness of COVID against COVID. But if we find any application areas, any critical information, of course, we will share with you. Okay, I think that was all. Thank you, Mr. Hammer. What is the maximum distance where we could still have effective disinfection? This is actually, as you have seen in the previous slides. Let me go back to this one. We actually calculated by this Kate's equation. So if you can share us the information that the centimeter square of the room you want to disinfect, we can make some calculations and offer you the perfect solution for that. I hope it explains your question, Luca. If you can send your email address, we will be glad to share that with you. I guess there aren't any questions. Let's see if there are any. Thank you, Luca. We will share that information with you as well. Okay, thank you all for connecting. Stay safe, take care.